The Los Angeles Lakers beat the Houston Rockets 104-98. I'm riding solo today. We are back for good. No worries. Kwab will be back tomorrow. Just the way the schedule's working out, he's got to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So I'm handling this one by myself. Let's get to the box score. For the Lakers, Luka Doncic, 20 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. The story of this game to me, DFS and Gabe Vincent, both with 20 points off the bench. 6 of 11 shooting from 3 for DFS, 6 for 13 for Gabe Vincent. For the Rockets, Thompson, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Dylan Brooks had 16. Şengün with 14, 7, and 6. A very great game to watch from a fan who is not a fan of either of these teams, don't have a dog in the fight. Have a little soft spot for Houston. Not going to lie, was pulling for Houston. But at the end, they just don't have enough offense to pull these type of games out. You know, this is why I'm so worried about the Rockets going into the playoffs this year. I thought they played well today, you know, considering the circumstances. I know Fred didn't shoot well. I know Jalen didn't shoot well. But defensively, for the most part, they played well when they were in man. And I understand that with the Lakers, you're going to have to give up something, right? They used the pick and roll all game with Luka Doncic, and basically wherever the help came from, Luka was able to find the open man, right? So if the help came from the corner, Luka's finding the man in the corner. If the help came from foul line extended the elbow, Luka was finding him too. And the Lakers were missing early in the game. I think the Rockets were doing a great job rotating, contesting shots. I thought Şengün played well in drop. Thompson was harassing Luka when he could on the ball. I thought the Rockets played really good defense in the beginning of the game. And for the most parts of the game, if I'm being completely honest with you, I mean, we'll get into the way Luka and LeBron handled the zone in the second half. I think Udoka going zone and staying in zone for as long as he did is a big reason why the Rockets lost this game. I'm not a fan of the way that Udoka coached this game and some decisions he made, but we'll get to that in a second. I mean, first, let's talk about earlier in the game. You know, a very putrid first quarter from both teams. You know, the Rockets came out. They looked good early on. Everything went through Şengün. And when I say everything, I mean like the first 4 or 5 possessions, and then they went away from him for some reason. I don't understand that. I guess they try to get Jalen going with the pick and roll. It wasn't really working, but in my opinion, if you have something working with Şengün, go with it. The man is one of the best playmakers in the league at any position. And against a team like this with the Lakers, you're going to need somebody who's going to pass the ball because they will collapse on you. They're good on their rotations. They have very good defenders, and you're just not going to get by them with just simple one-on-one dribbling and penetrating the way that Jalen Green likes to play. There's nothing wrong with it. But I would prefer an offense run through someone like Şengün who can find you on backdoor cuts, who can make the right pass. You can run dribble handoffs off of him. I think you saw it early on, right? I mean, he had the first few buckets of the game on Austin Reeves. He was causing mismatches. He was cutting to the paint. That could have opened up a lot. I'm surprised they went away from Şengün there, especially at a time where the Lakers on the offensive end were settling for a lot of jumpers. Like I said to start this episode, the Rockets played well. They played well on defense. I think they played well in drop. I thought Şengün played admirable in drop. Of course, you're going to give up something. You know, when you get put in the pick and roll, it takes not just the two players guarding the pick and roll to guard the pick and roll, but you got to help somewhere. And Luka's really good at finding that help. But I do think the Rockets played the drop as well as you could early on. And you expect that from the Rockets. They're one of the better defensive teams in the league, if not the best defensive team in the league. And I think they showed it for most of the game here. Moving on to the second quarter, great minutes from Jabari Smith. I thought Jabari played really well today. And, you know, we did episodes back when Jabari was out talking about how well the Rockets were clicking and whether or not he's going to get back in the starting lineup over Dylan Brooks. There was a whole debate in our comment section about that. Jabari was awesome today, and you could see how valuable he is because he stretches the floor. He's someone who they put in the corner. He's hitting the three. He hit a three off the break. And then defensively, I mean, he's somebody who, and I think the Rockets will use this in the playoffs, you can put him out there and he can switch onto any position. And I think that's what the Rockets should have went to more of in the second half. Instead of going zone, instead of being afraid of Luka and LeBron picking you apart on the pick and roll, trust your defense. You have players like Jabari Smith where you don't have to play drop. You can switch. I can understand playing drop with Şengün, but when he's not in the game and you have Jabari, everything should be switching. The Rockets have lineups where they can switch on everything. And if Udoka was that worried about being picked apart on the pick and roll, or maybe, which they did a large part of the game, picking on Fred VanVleet, finding mismatches. Throw people out there who can switch everything. You have the personnel to do that. And I think that's why this game in particular, I was kind of confused on a lot of Udoka's decisions and a lot of lineups he threw out there, frankly. But Jabari played well, but this is when the Lakers started getting hot. DFS, Gabe Vincent, just hitting threes after threes, open threes they were not hitting in the first quarter. They eventually came back around, and things started falling for the Lakers. Gabe Vincent was on tonight. DFS was on tonight. And frankly, if it wasn't for those two players, I don't know if this game is close. The Rockets win the game right off the bat, but I don't know how close this game is. The Lakers got virtually nothing from LeBron James in the first half. Luka did not shoot well. I thought Luka had a good game. He had a good floor game, but there was no offense to be found from anybody. Austin Reeves, they off ball all game. And it happens. I mean, you have three ball handlers in Luka, LeBron, and Austin that you can go to at any time to create offense. But this game was more put in Luka's hands, and Austin was just kind of chilling on the side. And you didn't really hear much from Luka. I mean, you didn't really hear much from Austin. You didn't really hear much from LeBron. I really don't think people look at this score 104-98, and look, obviously the Lakers won. A lot of the story is going to be around how young the Rockets are and are they ready for the playoffs and why they won't be able to make it past a team like the Lakers in the playoffs. But honestly, a game like this, you watch it, it's a 6-point game. The Lakers outmathed them. You know, the Lakers were bombing away from three. They hit more threes than the Rockets. They shot a better percentage from threes than the Rockets. And this game was like, this game could have gone either way. It was a one-possession game all the way to the end. If it wasn't for Gabe Vincent, if it wasn't for DFS, this could have been a laugher in the other direction. And that's why I'm saying I think the Rockets played well in this game, was because, you know, you go on the road to Los Angeles. You know, let's face it, a team that, even though the Rockets have a better record, the media, general consensus is saying, oh, this Lakers team is better than this Rockets team, and in a 7-game series, they would beat this Rockets team. I was seeing a lot of Lakers in 5 up on Twitter. You know, this was a game that the Lakers were favored in. This was not a game that people were expecting the Rockets to win. And to be honest with you, for a large portion of the game, I thought the Rockets played better than the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers played all that well, and I think it has a lot to do with the way the Rockets played defensively. Going to the third quarter, I think Udoka panicked a little bit. I understand the Rockets have been playing more zone lately, and it's been working. But when you have players like Luka Doncic and LeBron James who can pick apart zone defenses in the way that they can, and then on the opposite end, you know, zone, you're going to give up shots. You're going to give up threes. Like that, you are going to do that. I don't understand why he went to it so long. I understand maybe giving the Lakers a different look, but staying in the zone that long, I think, is the reason why they lost this game. They didn't get too big of a hole. You know, they didn't get down much, but momentum definitely swung in the Lakers' direction, and the Rockets were never, ever able to fully capture back the momentum that they had early on in the game. They did take the lead, but it just never really felt like they had control of the game, when I thought, for the most part, like I said, I thought for a large part of this game, they were the better team. You know, outside of DFS and Gabe going on the run that they went on, hitting those threes, you know, what game are we looking at here? I mean, I think the Rockets, for the most part, played better, even though Fred didn't shoot well, Jalen didn't shoot well. It was a tough game. It was a defensive game. It was a playoff-type game. And the Lakers just found a way to win it. I mean, in the fourth quarter, no offense from the Rockets, and I think this is what everyone's going to point to when talking about whether or not this Rockets team can do anything in the playoffs, right? You have the Lakers in the zone dropping back when Şengün has it at the top of the key, giving the corner three to Amen Thompson, just daring the Rockets to shoot from three. The Rockets have to figure out how to attack the zone, and I think you saw it at the end when they got Şengün in the post. Jabari cut into them in the lane, midi, he hit it. I think you can find different ways to create around Şengün, ball screens, dribble handoffs. I know Jalen, when he gets hot, you can just put the ball in his hands and he can do something. Typically, Fred VanVleet can shoot you out of the zone. I don't agree necessarily with the fact that the Rockets don't have the personnel to kind of shoot teams out of the zone. You have Fred, who can hit the three. He should be able to hit the three. I know he was awful today, but he can hit it. Dillon can shoot the rock. Jabari can shoot. You do have players. It's just a matter of Udoka finding the right matchups, finding the right lineups at the end of games for it to happen. But overall, just a great game to watch just from an NBA fan perspective. The Lakers, I don't know what to make of the Lakers. I've gotten kind of ripped talking about the Lakers because I'm one of those people. I don't have a grasp on what I think of these guys. They're good, obviously, since they got Luka. You have two of the best players in the world. LeBron James at any given moment could be a top 5 player in the world. Let's not kid ourselves. I know he's old, but he still got it. Defensively, when they first got Luka, they became one of the better teams in the league, but that's kind of fallen off as of lately. And I think that's more of who the Lakers are than that elite defensive team when Luka came into the picture. I just still have a hard time really ranking them in the West. And you see that when Kwab and I do their power rankings. Like, one week we had the Lakers at 5, then we had them at 8. We don't know where to put them. I personally don't know how I feel about this Lakers team right now. Very matchup dependent. You trust them because they have players like LeBron. You trust them because they have a player like Luka. DFS, same thing. Gabe Vincent went to the finals as a starting point guard with the Miami Heat. They have players that you trust that have been there before. So I think that's a big reason why the media is high on them. Obviously, they're from LA, so there's the big market bias as well. They want the Lakers to be good. They want the Lakers to go far. I say that as a Knicks fan. I get it. I know the Knicks get this. I wouldn't say they get the same treatment as the Lakers, but they get similar treatment. Like big market teams, they get similar treatment. Let's just be honest with each other. They do. But I don't know how I feel with this team. And I think the West is so interesting this year because we're so used to the West being so much better than the East. And I still think they are the better conference. But usually there's like 5 or 6 teams at the top where you're like, yo, they can win the conference. They can go far. These are really good teams. I don't think that's the case with the West this year. I think you have teams like the Rockets who are still ascending. This is the worst the Rockets are going to be, you would hope, if you're a Rockets fan, for the next 5 or 6 years. I don't think they're there yet, but they're the 2 seed. The Grizzlies just fired their coach. They're not tanking a little bit. They're falling in the standings a little bit. I don't know how good they are. The Nuggets, even though they won an NBA championship, I don't know how good the Nuggets are. I don't trust them defensively. The Lakers are new. I still don't know what the Lakers are. So you have all these teams where it's just like, even though you can find flaws in all these teams, and even though you can point to each team and say, this is why they won't make it to the finals or make it to the Western Conference Finals, outside of the Thunder, who's really all that great in this conference? Why not the Rockets? Why not the Lakers? So I found this matchup very fascinating. I am somebody who has said on this pod that I probably wouldn't trust the Rockets in a 7-game series just because of what you saw at the end, and I don't know if they're going to figure that out. But if they can play defensively like they did for most of the game, minus the zone parts in this game, they're going to be in every game. Whatever series they play in, they're not going to get blown out. They're going to give you a series. It's going to go at least 6, no matter who they play. Maybe not the Thunder. Maybe. But they're going to be a tough out. And why not the Rockets? I think they're better than the Grizzlies. You can catch the Nuggets. Who knows? I don't know. If I'm a Rocket fan, I'm encouraged with what I saw. I'm frustrated with Udoka. On to the next one. If I'm a Laker fan, you got to win at home. Tough win against a tough team. You saw what you needed to see from some role players. On a night where LeBron didn't have it, on a night where Austin Reeves was quiet, on a night where Luka didn't really do much scoring the basketball, you still got a dub. And that is a very good sign if you're a Laker fan. You keep moving it forward. Hopefully you don't lose to these bottom-of-the-barrel teams like you've been losing to. And you keep pushing forward. Maybe you get a 3 seed. Right now you're in the 4. Maybe you move up to the 3. Maybe you move up to the 2. You get home court advantage for a couple rounds in the playoffs. But that's going to do it. I mean, I'm by myself today. I'm solo Kwab. We'll be back tomorrow. We might do 2 games tomorrow, so we'll see about that. Wednesday, we're going to do Cavs-Knicks, which is going to be absolute torture for me. But let me know what you think about the game in the comments. Let me know what games you want us to review. The playoffs are coming soon. We cannot wait for that. Thanks for tuning in. We will catch you tomorrow for some more recaps of the Dime. Peace.